Peace, everybody. Peace, peace, peace. So, welcome to Movie Innerstandings. And I am Brother Lowe. Today, we're doing it a little bit differently because it's been a while for me. So, let me brush up on my Portuguese. Bem-vindo a Movie Innerstandings. Ele me chamou Irmão Lowe. So, there you go. Peace, Shia. But yeah, so like I say, we taking it to Brazil with this one, and it's the Assailant, a movie called The Assailant, but it's also called Besouro, and Besouro means beetle, you know. So that's what we're taking it to today. So at the start, let's just get a little bit of some historical facts with it. You know what I'm talking about? Well, we're in Brazil, and Brazil has one of the best kept African cultures in the Western Hemisphere, and it was the place where most of a great amount of slaves were taken, and it also has the largest Japanese population outside of Japan, and it has what else? Brushing up on my history as well. At one point in time, it was the Kingdom of Portugal when during the Napoleonic Wars. The King of Portugal left, and the capital became Rio de Janeiro at one point in time. Also, there's also one thing you probably want to remember is the Treaty of Tordesillas between Portugal and Spain, how they divvy up the New World, everything of that demarcation line. The east of it, Portugal got, and the west, Spain got. So if you look at South America and other places, you see how Spain, and then Portugal. Oh, we got this big country, but it's a wonderful place. You know what I'm saying? I know some people be like, "Oh, you just know all this stuff because you want to go to Brazil for the women." It's like, do I look like 90 Day Fiance? Nah, that ain't me. I grew up like in the places. 3 caballeros. When the parent says, "Have you been to Bahia, Donald?" No, well, let's go. If you've been to Bahia, my friend, you'll never return. And my uncle, he will go to Brazil and he will buy. He bought me a bow and arrow set, straight from Brazil, and because he had one, I had one, 2 of my aunts was from Brazil as well, and so I got to experience a little something, and I would go to like Logan Square up in Chicago where they would have Brazilian functions. So peace and Marlene. So are you in 2 places at one time? I'm in 2 places at one time? Who knew? I don't know. How am I in 2 places at one time? Sister Marsha, it just works for me. But since we're talking about Bahia, because it's northeast, and it's actually the state of Bahia, which is the setting for our movie, right? Now, it doesn't tell you, but this is actually based off of a true story. Because Beetle or Besouro was an actual person. At the start, of the movie, he as a child, he's learning from his teacher, and he starts off with his name Manuel. The actual person, his name was Manuel Enrique Pereira. Pereira, and he was born in 1895 and he died in 1924, which also is the time setting of 1924 for this for the movie, right? And so you see him as a kid, and he's training with his mestre Leo, and he tells him that black is for life. Be proud of your color, and never let others make you feel belittled. And he also says that he asked him, Beetle, how, basically, who taught you how to walk? And he says, my mother and my father. He said, no, you taught yourself how to walk. Greetings, brother Zach. He said, no, you taught yourself how to walk by, being curious and things of that nature. Which was interesting to say. Some of us would credit our parents, teaching us how to walk, not ourselves, or teaching us how to talk, Basically, all I did, without having the what's the word? The I guess the ownership of saying I taught myself how to walk. I just mimicked what you did and then taught myself how to walk. Or I mimicked what you did with your sounds and then taught myself how to talk, But it is what it is. You kept on saying mama so much, I was able to say mama, But so he's with Master Aleppo, right? Mestre Aleppo. And he chooses the name Beetle. And he talks about the actual beetle. How, it has an outer, a very hardened shell. But, people think that, it's impossible for it to fly, but yet it flies, because it has thin wings. And I'm looking, made me think of the saying pride comes before the fall. I would say the pride comes in later. The pride comes in later. But I don't know. I'll say the pride, at least in this movie, the pride comes in later, right? Because one thing you want to realize about this movie, for me, when this movie came out, I was so happy to see it because I was watching a Shaw Brothers film and I saw this trailer, for the Assailant. And I got it when it first came out, on DVD. I was so happy. But then you realize that this movie is a lot of things. It's a movie about Willie Lynchism and just a different variety. It's just so much into it, right? And one thing you see in this film, you see with Mestre Aleppo, he wears his ilekes, and you see, he has white, and then he has sky blue, a little Demare and Yemanja, right? One thing about in Brazil, they spell it's different than in Spain or in Spanish speaking countries. Like in Cuba and certain and Puerto Rico, you got Santeria, but in Brazil you have Candomblé, right? So they spell the names of the orishas differently. Just thinking of the name Orisha, right? They spell it with an X. It's not Orishas. It's Orixas. Or if you want to say Oshun, it's Oxum. Or Eshu. It's EXU. Just simple. It's not Baba Luaye, it's Oba Luaye, things of that nature, just for you to know, right? And Master Aleppo, he's basically the leader of this capoeira community, and he's in the marketplace, and he ends up getting shot, and Beetle is apparently supposed to protect him, right? and that's what one of his capoeira brothers or capoeiristas. He said, "Beto, ain't you supposed to be looking out for Mestre Lipo?" And he's like, "Man, we can't count on you because he's too busy, practicing capoeira, right?" Um, and like I say, Master Lipo gets shot. And then all of a sudden, here comes Beetle, and he carries him off, to the old uh, sugar plantation, or old slave quarters, right? Also, before I forget, another setting. We know that this is in the state of Bahia, but the actual city that it's in is Santo Santo Amaro. Santo Amaro is like 45 miles away from Salvador, Dubai, right? Which is right off the coast, So you got to remember that also that this is capoeira is a martial science, but also, being in the Northeast, this was also a setting for a lot of insurrections and um, basically revolutionary states called, or settlements called quilombos. The famous ones being in Pernambuco and Palmeiras. If you look at the spelling, for like Palmeiras, you would probably say like you would in Spain, Palmeiras, but it's it's Palmeiras, with an is sound, not an ez sound, and actually one thing that's famous about the Columbus is like they had their own kings, one was called Ganga Zumba, and one I know after him was Zumbi. Zumbi was a famous king and warrior, and his full name sometimes is Zumbi do Palmeiras, and he actually has his own holiday in Brazil. Zumbi does. I know that, and he also married also a martial warrior or queen called Dandara. But Pernambuco and Palmeiras is right north of Bahia. It's a very small state, but it's just right north. It's like a just straight up north, straight up northeast, right? But it has the biggest black population at that time, because that's where all the slaves were, or dropped off. Oh, Quilombo. Yeah, Sister Deidre. That is one. Why did Besouro feel it was his fault that his master got shot? Marlene, he felt that it was his fault because like in the start, he was supposed to be looking out for him. It's his fault because while he was, playing around like brothers that said, because of his, I would say, ego, because of his ego, like Mester's gonna be all right, Master Lipo's, he's gonna be okay, ain't nothing's gonna happen to him. It's and then something happens to him where he doesn't expect it, where everybody's like, people, people want to kill him, or he has a problem with the policing agents and things of that nature about capoeira, because at the same time, this martial science was outlawed, in Brazil for a very long time. You also have to understand that in Brazil, freedom for slavery wasn't abolished until 1888. So, actually, it's March 13th, 1888, right? So by the time, we got freedom and, basically in so-called freedom in 65, they were still slaves. Also, but I would say pride and ego. he felt like it was his fault because that was his master and it was his job to look out for him. But to me, it was the community's job, not just Beetle, right? But they put it all on Beetle, you know. Jay was supposed to be the bodyguard, be in the bodyguard duty. Instead went with the desire of his own heart. Yeah, Sister Deirdre, that's it. How does one look after the master, though? I thought that was interesting too. Exactly. How does one look after the master? That's an interesting question. All I can say is shadow him. You know, if you learn it from the master anyway, you're supposed to shadow him. If you learn it from the master, but if you learn it from the master anyway, isn't not your job to shadow, you know, and learn, you know? And he sort of didn't, and he didn't do that. My name is Precious. Peace, Emma Precious, you know. But he didn't do that. He went to go, you know, basically he went to, you know, train or show off his skills, you know, with the other capitalistas in the square, you know. But when his master got shot, then here he comes running, or all of them come running, you know. But the only one that pretty much was thinking about it was Chico, you know. And so after that, you know, you have you know, the master dies and he names Beetle as his successor, you know. Technically he was still studying. Yeah, technically he was still studying, you know. If you could say that. But also you sort of gotta understand that I know it doesn't say it, but this film, even though it's about capoeira, it was also the martial arts was done by the guy that did Kill Bill's martial art direction. So you're going to see a few Chinese things in it, you know. So it's kind of lost in a sense, which you know sort of sometimes bewilder me at times. But the passing of succession, you know, from Master Lipo or Mestre Lipo to Beetle, I thought that was very key, you know, as you know, like passing on the capoeira legacy. Because mind you, you know, in a sense, there, you know, it's 1924, right? Think about it. Does it look like 1924? But just think about the time, you know, our 1924, which we know, you know, we're going through depressions. We got cars, you know, we riding around and getting it. And, you know, we going through, you know, the bootlegging era because of prohibition and things of that nature. But if you look at other parts of the world, it's not as developed, you know. So that's what I say, you know, your 1924, or, you know, in this time, 1924 for, you know, westernized Americans is different from those in other parts of the world. Is that what they were conveying from the frog to the master? Yeah, I would say so, Brother Zach, only because I put it to you like this. You know, when because I'm gonna get to it. But Noka Ray, you know, they have a tribute to Mestre Lipo, right? And Noka Rage, you know, the tribute. Now, if you hear, you know, they actually are singing a song about Mestre Lipo, right? But he raids, you know, the tribute and breaks Chico's legs, right? But then you have Beetle going back to a memory of him and his master with, you know, Kettle and, you know, Donita and or Denora. And he says, you know, one person is strong, but two are even stronger, and then three are even stronger, you know. But but when you talked about Brothers at with the Toad, what I thought was Bruce Lee. And the reason why that happened for me was because I thought of the you know um the Tao, of becoming, the Toad, like when Brucey says, be like water, if water is the cup, he becomes the cup, if water, water can bend, water can move, be like water. So here you have Beetle becoming the Toad, actually becoming the Toad, whereas he can not only be like water, but he can also be like, the Toad or the actual Beetle, in the sense. Peace, Max, you know. So, and then, as he, projects as the Toad, he sees, the order shots, he sees Oshun, and things of that nature. Like one going through the water to get baptized and being reborn. Well, okay, because this is this is Brazil, Okay, I'll give you that one. I would give you that one, but yeah, I guess, but you are right in the sense that there is a rebirthing, you know, at that point. But I would say, um, not when he becomes the Toad. That's not the rebirthing. That's not the rebirthing. But like, okay, in order for me to get to that point, you got Chico, right? He kicks over an offering to Eshu, right? Which is at the crossroads, and we know that Eshu is, um, of the crossroads, right? And but one thing you have a sense of community where you have Doanira asking for a blessing from Zamira, who we can see is the priestess, right? But one thing that was interesting is, you have Eshu, messing with Chico, while Chico's trying to, sell fish. He's messing with him, right? And Chico don't know that that's Eshu, what I'm saying, or what he's done, but Zumira does, right? And Beetle does, because Beetle sees him, right? And as Beetle talks to Eshu, because they take out, Chico acts like, I'm gonna cut you, because he just thinks it's a regular guy. He don't think that it's Eshu. And then, his friends take him off like, man, something's wrong with him. But then, Eshu talks to Beetle. And one thing he says to him, is there good without evil? Is there death without life? You know what I'm saying? And he says, I ruled over your master's head for many years, and I want my respect, and Beetle acts like he's fighting, Eshu, and Eshu's just toying with him, Eshu's just toying with him. And while he's doing that, he's messing up the marketplace, right? And then finally he submits, to Eshu and bows before Eshu, right? Which was very interesting in a sense, as he's doing that, and it's like this. To me, the only person that knows what's happening is Zumira, in that sense, because she sees him, But like I say, you see sort of the theme, as he's using his art, to fight, Eshu. You also see the Chinese theme of flying and things of that nature. No one else could see him but the two of them. Yeah. No one else could see him, They didn't understand. They thought, who's he talking to? Who's Beetle talking to? They didn't know. They couldn't see. They didn't have the eyes to see, or the understanding to see, But then you have the Colonel, right? The character of the Colonel. Would that be a scene where he was in a battle with his ego? I would say so, because one thing, Eshu calls him on, it's his decision not to protect his master. He's like, where were you? Where were you when your master got shot? You know what I'm saying? And as he's fighting, he's that's what pretty much sets him off. That he brings his decision straight on the table. Mind blowing decisions cause head-on collisions, right? And like I say, as you calls him on it, where were you? What were you doing? And Beetle sort of couldn't handle that, right? All he can do was lash out because he was wrong, in that sense, But then you have, like I said, the Colonel, right? Come to the marketplace and sees how messed up it is, and he says, there are those who destroy, and then there are those who work hard, right? But when you see the Colonel, think of, because she talked about this, the failed soldier. That's what I thought of when I saw the Colonel, peace, brother Antonio. He's the failed soldier. Remember that, if you own a certain amount of land, you can call yourself whatever you want to, and here you have somebody called the Colonel, but he was no colonel, he was no colonel in the army. He didn't dress like a colonel, but he was able to call himself a colonel because he was land, he owned a certain amount of land, but he sort of represented that failed soldier type. And remind you, for those that don't know, in a sense, Brazil has been a refuge for failed soldiers. Example, the Confederates. Some of the Confederates once, slavery was abolished up here, and the war was over and they lost. They went to Brazil. Another example is World War II with the Nazis. They went to South America. Once they saw they were about to lose the war, they went to Brazil. They went to different parts of South America. Another example is a famous Nazi, Adolf Eichmann. He was in Argentina, and the Israeli government, sent agents to extradite him from Argentina, because you couldn't extradite somebody from that country. You literally had to basically kidnap him. It's the same thing. So you have the failed soldier in this archetype of the Colonel. So Beetle is running from basically the Colonel's henchman, and he jumps off the cliff. Right now, once he jump off the cliff, and they're like, he's drowned. He couldn't survive that. Now, brother Zach, that's where I think that's where the rebirthing comes, because his mestre, Mestre Alipo, is still talking to him and telling him about the Ordi shots and what they represent and the forces of nature that they represent. One thing about Brazil is unlike certain parts, um, when we talk about Orishas, there's always the big seven, the main ones. You got Olumare, Limanja, Shango, Ogun, Eshu, Oya, and Oshun, right? But in Brazil, they know of Osayin, and they know of, Oshala, and they know of, Obaluaye, and even, at this time, they even come up with some orishas that are not indigenous, to, the continent. Like one example is Jarima. Jarima is indigenous to Brazil and only to Brazil, you know, because of the native influence. But you have Mestre Alipo. He talks about Osayin, being the master of leaves and the herbalists and things of that nature. And then you see, Osayin working on, Beetle's body, And then you have Ogun, he says he's the master of war, and he lets Beetle know that he's the son of Ogun, Then he talks about Oshun, when Beetle gives, a tribute to Oshun, with gold flowers and with yellow roses and and whatnot. And then we go to Oya, but they say Iansa, Iansa, and flowers is given to to her, and things of that nature. Beetle pays tribute to her, but also then you see, Beetle with Zumita, and she's basically how can I say this? Education over initiation, right? This is when he felt his body was body was a shield. Yeah, and mommy. Also, honestly, if you want a better example in a sense, I would say, think of Samson. Think of Samson and his strength and what his mother had to do, basically taking the Nazarite vows and things of that nature, for his strength. Instead, you have Beto taking certain rites or certain vows to get his strength and get his charms and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Also, before I forget, also in Capoeira, because I probably didn't explain Beetle's name in a sense. He took on a name, because in Capoeira, you take on a nickname, because at one point in time, like I say, it was outlawed, right? So in order to protect, your identity or your real name, you use, basically your Capoeira name, basically. Also, you could say that's a rites of passage, in a sense where you are able to go, you're going through this martial science, and because you cross a certain mark or rites of passage in that martial science, you're able to rename yourself. You know what I'm saying? So that's interesting in itself, But then you have Zumira talks about, 7 leaves and 7 doors. Then you have the number 7 come up, and then if in your mathematics, what is 7? 7 is God, and you have the knowledge of self and I self am God. 7 is the Asiatic black man, things of that nature. But she said 7 leaves and 7 doors, right? So basically, you have what a master building number of 77, don't you? So take that into consideration if you go through your numerology, but then, like I say, you after that, after you see, Beetle goes through his basically his body transformation, or him having a sealed body, as they say, you see Donita, now it makes sense. Okay. Thank you. I'm glad it does. I wanted to make sense for you. and Marlene. But also, as we talked about, his body being sealed and him getting his charms and things, mind you, those things come with, certain things that he can't do, and in the sense, with Samson, he couldn't cut his hair, same thing with Beetle, but it comes with, could that 7 be the opening of one's head? It can be, Brother Zach, but don't quote me on it. You know what I'm saying? Don't quote me. It can be, it could be the opening of one's head, but I I'm not, the expert. I'm not the expert on it. But let's love Baba Cruz. So you see Donita is hounded by the congressman. One, the congressman comes, to see the colonel, because of the simple fact that, of the sugar production, because it's sugar cane down in Brazil. It's all about sugar cane, at least in this region, right? And so, the sugar production is slow. And when I thought about the congressman, I thought of, Salvador. You're not that far. So, the sugar production was, basically being produced to be exported to, Salvador and then any other part of the world, right? But, she's hunted by the congressman, and then the colonel goes to Daniel's mother, who, as you can see, she looked young and cute. And he goes to her and saying, I want, De Niro to serve the congressman. But, De Niro ran home, after being hounded, or basically sexually assaulted in a sense, and, because she left, he says, well, bring that other chick, to go see the colonel. That she too, is gone, right? The force of a goon stepped in when the machine stopped working. Okay, Max, I feel you. But like I say, you see Willie Lynchism, and then you see it's 1924 and there's still bedwentry in this part of the world, or in this part of the hemisphere. Like I say, 1924 for you may not be the same, thing for other people. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, they're still going through a sort of slave narrative in this part of the world. You know what I'm saying? So you see that, but and then you have, the colonel going through, surveying the marketplace and whatnot. It's like, oh, this look good. This is good. You know what I'm saying? Remind me of the of this part in the of Once Upon a Time When We Were Colored. And they're talking basically to the overseer, about the crop last year. He said, "Oh, we did good, I say." And then you got the women like, "We did good, I say." What but he said, and then you got the men looking because the colonel's giving googly eyes at one of the women in the marketplace, and you have one of the guys tell Chico, one little pat on the back, and everyone forgets the whip. And that's true. Like I say, you see the Willie Lynchism, one little pat on the back, and everyone forgets the whip. Now, mind you, the Willie Lynchism in other parts, of the Western Hemisphere is not the same as Anglo-Saxon but it's still there, right? And you see it. But you see Beetle sabotaging the sugarcane factory, and they chase him in the forest again. You know, um, Peace, brother Chris. I see how Combo inspired you to put on. Oh, yes, brother Chris. Yes, I am putting on for my squad, Flamingo, in Rio. Get like me, brother Chris. you know, but yeah, since we're talking about Brazil, yes, I am repping. So of course I got the playlist on deck. I got the shirt. I'm ready. You know, you just be glad I ain't breaking out the song, right? But yeah, um, but Brito sabotages, and the sugarcane factory, and they chase him in the forest. One thing I thought of once he does that is economic warfare. You know, that's what I thought of. Because of the simple fact that, by him sabotaging the sugarcane factory in a sense, sugar production slows or it ceases to a halt, and it causes a problem within in the state, in a sense. Why do you think it's so hard for people to let the amenities go from their oppressors? Well, I would say, brother Zach. Okay, brother Zach. Since you are a social scientist, I'm gonna give you one that you know very well. I'm gonna tell you what dang on Dr. Amos told everybody, because we're crazy. We have to literally be out of our minds. There you go. That's why. In order, it's hard for people to let these abilities go because they're crazy. They're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. We all suffer from some psychosis, about it, in that sense. It's hard to, and not only that, it's hard to let go, probably because people don't want to, suffer. They don't want to suffer and go through, the suffering to gain some clarity or wisdom, from the suffering, of letting all of that go, or I would say also the fear of, being slave minded. You know what I'm saying? For me, one thing that this movie sort of teaches you, is that, we're in this part of the hemisphere, we're all pretty much sort of cut from the same cloth in a sense. We all suffer from the same Willie Lynchism, the same negative spirits, and things just presented in a different way. You know what I'm saying? Yes, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, brother Antonio. But now it was on them to work harder to make up for the losses. Exactly. That's why I said it was a sort of economic warfare. But at the same time, the thing is that why was it just Beetle doing the interaction? There was more capitalistas around him, but the community did not decide on basically revolutionizing or revolting against, the colonel and sugar, the sugar plantations, basically the sugar factory, at all. That's why, it failed, or this insurrection failed, because Beetle did not have, the backing of the entire community around him, You know what I'm saying? That's also what you get from this film. You know what I'm saying? But then, you have the that's an interesting aspect of the revolutionary being hated on by the people who should be rallying behind the same cause. Yeah, I agree with you, brother Antonio, because like I say, you have the Colombos in Brazil, you know what I'm saying? But they don't last, you know what I'm saying? They do have a source of independence and survivability and things of that nature, but they don't last. And then, like up here, you have certain slave revolts, but what happened? Somebody snitched. Somebody snitched, or whatever, and things of that nature. But the colonel's very sly, but he talks to Kettle Kettle, and he wants to find out. He sees them, practicing capoeira, and you see, Kettle, he pretty much, you can say he immediately submits to the colonel, right? But he said, no, I want to see who's the best at your little game. One thing, when people look at capoeira, they don't see it as a martial science. They just see it as a dance, and something not to be taken lightly, and or it's not a serious martial art. That's just play. But this martial science was created for a reason. And it was created to solve a problem, and it did solve a problem. Because it was used by the people in the Colombos. And they were able to fend off attack. With capoeira. Yes, it does, and that's always been my thing with movies when it comes to capoeira, brother Antonio. It gets done dirty. It really gets done dirty. I can name one movie, Bloodsport, right, with Jean-Claude Van Damme. There's a capoeirista there, and he's jumping around. He's jumping around like a monkey, but they make him look like a savage monkey in this. And then he straight gets washed by should be John Claude Van Damme or Bolo, and then I think you see the same thing in Ombak. You know what I'm saying? You have a capitalista master, and he looks kind of egotistical and cool, and he doing this and that, and then he gets washed by 20 yards. It's like I say, it gets done dirty. You know what I'm saying? But it's all a ploy. It's all a ploy. It's nobody wants to give your martial sciences any credit for warriorship, and that's all a ploy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that was Lateef Crowder. Okay, thanks, brother Antonio. Love all those movies. Okay, Never Back Down is another one. Yeah, yeah. Even when they make it good he still always exactly. So I've always I always sort of get the stank face when that happens. When I see that, I just get mad and but yeah, and it happens here. You know what I'm saying? But Kettle looks like he's the best, right? And he talks to Denora, and he's like, I'm not going to offend Beetle no more. You see the colonel was looking at me, and he said I was good, and this is this, and and Denora's like, well, you don't know much about the colonel. Like, I know about the colonel. You see the spirit already in Kara, right? We all know the name. I'm just not going to say it, but it's said in the movie many times. You see the blatant racism in Brazilian movies. But it is what it is. But you already see that he's egotistical, but he's also, he good old boy. You know what I'm talking about? just like the tap dance man. You know what you gonna do? But yeah, but you know, Denora hears all this from Kettle Kettle, and she's like, "Well, I'm leaving you. It's over." You know, Kettle Kettle's demons was a lust for external validation. Yes, it is a love for external validation, but external validation from um, his colonizer and slave masters. You know, in a sense, he wanted external validation from, you know, from the colonel. You know, he wanted a pat on the head and whatnot. But you know, Denora leaves, you know, Kettle Kettle, you know, and you know, she, you know, then you see her becoming, finding her natural beauty because she's allied herself, you know, with the culture, you know, her culture, you know. Yes, it, yeah, yeah, brother Zach. He is, but at the same time, can you really say it? Because Denora's not cracking that whip. I'm just gonna be real. Denora's not cracking that whip. You know, she ain't cracking the whip. I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be good. Anyway. So she finds her own natural beauty. You know, you see, you know, her hair is more natural and things of that nature and whatnot. And she goes to find Beetle and she finds them and they play. Okay. Play. But when you know, when they play, right, you do see, you know, the dance, you know, and you also see the warfare as well. You know, they give you a little bit of the dance and they give you a little bit of warfare, you know, or the fight, you know, as they play. You know. But yeah. Um and Kettle Kettle sees this and he gets mad, you know, and whatnot. And because he gets mad, what does he do? He snitches on Beetle, you know, about his sealed body. And he tells him, you know, the way to kill him, you know, or to stop his sealed body is the wood to come, right? It was a beautifully choreographed. Yes, brother Antonio, it was beautifully choreographed. Uh, okay, maturity, but yes, it was beautifully choreographed. But as we say, he snitches on Beetle and tells him, you know, tells him what the that the wood is his weakness, right? That's what I say. It's like Samson. You know, I sort of you see the Hebrew in all this in this movie. You can liken this to Samson, and you can also liken this to, you know, the Christ entity in a little bit. You know, because you have your Judas, you sort of got your Mary Magdalene in this. You know, then you got your Pontius Pilate in the sense when you got the Colonel and whatnot, and even with Nunca, right? So you know you see this, you know, and it doesn't say it, but you see it, you know, if you know, if you got the wisdom to see, you know, wise man only needs a hint, right? So that's what I thought of. I thought of Samson, then I thought of a little bit of the Christ figure, you know, as this is going on, right? But when he snitches to Nonka, right, you know, they be like, hey, give him a drink, give him enough drink. And he says, you know, oh, I gotta work tomorrow. You know, you see that? I gotta work tomorrow, you know. And then they talk, well, Nonka goes in on them some more, right? Talking about, you know, melanoid people and things of that nature, you know, spouting racial epithets. We'll just say it like that. You know what I'm saying? And then here comes Kettle saying, I want to have a word with you. You know what I'm saying? And then he fights Nonka and then kills Nonka, right? Or Noka. He fights Noka and kills Noka. You have also a Simon Peter fisherman. Exactly. Chico is Pete. See, brother, so you already know with me. Chico is the fisherman. He's Peter. And then, he's gonna basically he's gonna build the Capoeira church because he's gonna be the next mestre. But anyway, but thank you for saying that. But it is really, really, really tough. It is really though. Samson called on his strength at the end to tear down the wall. It is one's perception of what they think they need to spot. Yeah, I feel you on that, brother Zach. But like I said, Kettle kills Noka, right? And then you have him meeting Donera, and he says, you mine. He's very egotistical, and he's always trying to, display ownership to Donera, in that scene. You know what I'm saying? And she's not going for it anyway. But you know what I'm saying? He doesn't say it to Donita. He says it to Beetle, because he goes to see Beetle. And, when he says that, being egotistical, and was like, you think you could beat me? You think you this? You nothing. You this, that. And they fight. And Beetle washes them. You know what I'm saying? Beetle washes them with his own secret technique. That spin move kick, that just seems flightless. It was cool. You foul, Bal. You foul. Don't make me act up, brother Antonio. But yes, that as well. But then, after, pretty much that, Kettle frames Beetle for Noka's murder. You know what I'm saying? And you have another thing is that they go on a hunt for, Beetle or whatnot. And you have Chico defending Zomira because the Colonel's men are messing with Zamira and, tearing apart her Ileques and whatnot. And then you have Chico, right? Chico just, he got a messed up leg, right? But he kicks everybody, basically he's he's filled with the spirit of Beetle in a sense, and he's able to, do these kicks where he couldn't do before, because of his leg, right? See, Christ energy, right? So he defends Zamira that way, and then, you see the kids playing, Colonel and Beetle. They don't tell you to like a few, minutes later, that the Colonel kills Beetle with the cone wood while they're hunting them. But one thing I never liked about this movie is that it had a Django Unchained effect where nobody really significance died in this movie. That's what really, I was like, when this movie came out, I was so hyped for it. But then when I saw that, and then I thought of Django Unchained, and I was like, man, this is a chip. Nobody really, besides Noka, nobody really died when they should have. You know what I'm saying? You came, but you see the kids playing Colonel and Beetle. I want to be Beetle. And they say, Beetle is the winner and whatnot. And, and then the Colonel, tries to press up on Donita again, right? And you see that's spirit beetle coming over on her too, and she straight watched the colonel, right, with Beetle's on move. She's able to do it. What I'm saying? Then you see her crying and whatnot, and you find out that Donita is pregnant with Beetle's child, right? And then you have the mestre saying the seed has been planted, and now now our people will awaken, right? And then that Beetle dies from the Tacoma machete. I would say it's not a knife. That thing looks like a machete to me. And then you have I would say this, since we're talking about biblical lore in a sense, Mestre Alipo represents that John the Baptist. What I'm talking about. Short part, right? But he represents that archetype of John the Baptist. He sees that coming, right? Of that Christ energy, and he's the first of all. In a sense, he dies first. What I'm saying. But you have Mestre Alipo, death, saying death does not exist. Death is living beneath the soles of their boots. What I'm saying. And then you have Beetle laying in Dornita's lap as he's dying and whatnot. And then you see that Dornita is Oya. What I'm saying? Which in Brazil, they're big on that as well, on who whose child you are, and they even have it in their name sometimes. You may be a child of Ogun or Oshun or things of that nature. For instance, one of my favorite singers, Mariana G. Castro, right? She's an Oshun. She's an Oshun. She wears gold all the time when she sings and things of that nature. This is why she told me you be careful of them. But you see that. And then you also have Mestre saying, the real hero is born. And when the enemy hesitates, and makes the worst mistake of all, to think that he can put, an end to everything. And but it is that is when the movement finds a new beginning. What I'm saying? And that new beginning, really comes to Beetle's son Junior. And he's being taught, by Chico. Like I say, Chico is that Peter, right? And you have Junior getting ready to choose his name, and he chooses the name Beetle like his father. And then Junior's, got a little stare down with the colonel, and whatnot. But he goes to his mother, But like I say, Willie Lynch, you see the Willie Lynchips in that, he's, the single motherhood and things of that nature and whatnot. So yeah. Then you got the writing or the epilogue. Basically, like they say in 1953, Capoeira was fully accepted, and in 2008 it was declared a Brazil cultural heritage. Right. Well, for two capoeista mestres during that time, Mestre Bimba and Mestre Bastinha, two melanoid rich dominant men. They actually went to length to talk to the president at that time of Brazil, to get capoeira recognized, and because of that, they were able to found schools at that time as well. Mestre Bimba, he founded Capoeira Regional, and Mestre Bastinha, which they called the king of Capoeira. He founded Capoeira Angola, or Capoeira do Angola. But yeah, that's also a little bit of history, and also just so even based on your mestre or not, there's a lineage. There's also a lineage in capoeira. If you don't know, and you're able to basically see the mestre lineage, and under certain pupils and things of that nature. You see that in kung fu and a little bit, but you also see it here. That Eastern mindset. You know, but also the real person, Beetle, his full, I guess you say his full capoeira name is Besouro Manganga, which is supposed to be the wood gnawing beetle, which is indigenous to Brazil, but you could also say it comes from the African word Inganga, which is doctor or medicine and things of that nature. So yeah, but that's the end. But like I say, this was a good movie. I've always, I always like Brazil movies, but I'm glad this was requested by Baba Cruz. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad he requested it, because when he requested it, he was like, "Can you do Besouro?" I was like, "Besouro? what are you talking? Oh, you mean the Assailant? Okay, I got you. They have lots of Odisha references in Bidambao songs. Yes, they do. Baba Antonio. They have a lot of songs about them, even about their mestres. But you find that in a lot of samba songs. They got a lot of samba songs about Orishas. They even got a lot of carnival themes when it comes to Orishas. Sometimes it's about Shango 1 year, and then it may be about Eshu 1 year. Like my favorite samba school, they did a singer, Maria Bethania, and it was titled, Maria Bethania, the girl with the Oya eyes, and that's the year that they won Carnival that year. But they do that. But like I say, you see a lot of things. You see in this movie, you see that we all struggle from the same thing, and it's the same thing that we all have to overcome. Now, some may not want to say it, but it's look, we all gotta break away from that Willie Lynch-ism, that we all suffer from, no matter what colonizing culture put place forth. You know what I'm saying? Bevakasha, Emma Arlene. No problem. But that's the end of that. Next, next next strong. We should be doing I'm doing another. It should be the serpent. Next strong should be the serpent, because everything got pushed back. Chief, let's run it back. Okay, Chief, just for you, we gonna bring that beat back. Bring that beat back. Oh, okay, I'm sorry, but we gonna bring that beat back. Okay, for you, Chief. We were talking about capoeira. Movie The Assailant. Now, for those who don't know, it's based off of a true events or a true person who come from Santo Amaro, Bahia, Manuel Enrique Pereira, which is, and his capoeira name was Besouro Manganga, but some just shorten it to Besouro. Gail, yes. Hit it from the top. Okay, so we already had an hour. So, he gets teachings from his mestre Lipo, who is also a real person. And let me basically, this movie has, a lot of rich Willie Lynchism in it, just a different version because, it's Portugal, but also, in this movie, you're going to see a lot of biblical lore in these characters. Like I was explaining that, Beetle, you can liken him to Samson, and you can also liken him to a Christ energy in the sense because yes, he was a see chief no he was a real revolutionary. Now the real Beetle would get into it with policing agents. For those that don't know, that's really the cause. But yeah, and it is said, he was really killed um, with a stab to the abdomen, but I also talked about Chief, the Colombos, because this is my favorite place. This is northeast of Brazil. So we talking about Bahia, this is Santo Amaro. So it's in the state of Bahia, 45 miles away from Salvador. And I did talk about the Colombos Pernambuco and the Colombo Palmeiras. You have the Kings, Zumbi, and you have Ganga Zumba, this is a movie that I have done about 15 family breakdowns on. We love this flick. And I was yeah, man, the Columbus were their maroon camps. Yeah, they were their maroon camps, for those that don't know. Also, Palmeiras is also a football team. It's also a football team, but in South Brazil, near Sao Paulo. It's in Sao Paulo. And they even got a samba school called Mancha Verde, Greenstein, but whatnot. Ganga Zumbi, yeah, real folks. And let's not forget Zumbi's wife, Dandada, she was also, a revolutionary martial warrior, and I also explained, Chief, that Zumbi actually has his own holiday in Brazil, because some that don't know, I also talked about, insurrection and fail, when you have an insurrection, you can have somebody that always snitches, it's the same, like, Denmark VZ up here and things of that nature. I also talked about certain, because this is about capoeira. I also talked about two mestres, Mestre Bimba from Capoeira Regional and Mestre Pastinha from who founded Capoeira Angola, and they brought capoeira as a sport, and how capoeira is always basically not taken seriously, and it's always given a bad rap, especially in movies. I mean, I'm sure like one movie I gave was Bloodsport, and Brother Antonio gave Umbach, and it's always portrayed in a bad light, what I'm saying? And then I also told that capoeira also has its lineages, it's also a lineage, because you could also trace, your lineage based on your mestre, you talk about how Shu was beating the brace off that brother in the market. He beat him like, hey, well, Charles. Yes, I did, Chief. Because he, and she was like, just dodging him, doing that Chinese capoeira, right? Because the guy that did their martial arts scenes was the guy that did Kill Bill's martial scene. I can't say his name because I'm not good with my Chinese pronunciations yet, but he was just dodging them. He's like, you ain't hit me, bro. But I also said, how as you calls to task, Beatles decision to not protect his mestre, what I'm saying, and bring that to the forefront, and like you said, mind blowing decisions, cause head on collisions, right? So he brings up that decision, you know, and and also Chico kicking over uh Eshu's tribute at the crossroads. He just kicks it over like he don't care, but then he gets messed with by a shoe. It's crazy. I couldn't tell during Red Cliff. I thought you were part Chinese. However you pronouncing those names. Well, brother Antonio, let me tell you something. A lot of people don't even think I'm Chinese. Actually, because I know so much, my friends thought I was from Brazil. Oh, my people were from Brazil because I knew so much, and at the end of the day, they really thought I was from Brazil. Now, how do I know certain types of pronunciations? It's the same thing with Portuguese. I listen. I listen. I watched a lot of Brazilian movies. I didn't. For some people, they just know City of God. I watched a lot of Brazilian movies because I love the place. It's my favorite place in the world. So I watched a lot of Brazilian movies. And with the same thing with Chinese pronunciations, I watched a lot of wuxia dramas and kung fu movies. So I would listen as how they would pronounce it, in a sense, you know what I'm saying? And I thought he was gonna say he was Chinese. No, but I used to think I used to think when I was a kid. I was like, you sure we not? But nah, no, I'm not. I thought he was gonna. No, I do not, Chief. That's another thing this movie teaches: fetishes. You see the failed soldier and the colonel have a fetish for melanin women, and so does the congressman. But no, Chief, I do not have no fetish. That's just wrong. That's just wrong. That's and not only that's belittling the person. That's an insult. You know what I'm saying? I like you because you this. No, that's just wrong. That's how I see it though. But no, I really listen. And that's how I'm able to pronounce certain words, like with with Portuguese. Before I tried to learn to speak it, or I talked with certain people, like my aunts and them. It all started, listening to Stan Getz, Bossa Nova, what I'm talking about, and then singing the the Portuguese parts of the songs to Corcovado and Girl from Ipanema and things of that nature. That's just about urges. Like it got nothing to do with it. It's primal. Yes, but my thing is, if it's primal, hey, a girl is a girl, no matter. A girl's a girl, no matter what color, right? I ain't gonna say what I want to say, but yes, a girl's a girl, no matter what color. So I mean, it's the same thing. So I like girls. That's the point, So it don't matter, So if liking women is a fetish, is wrong. I don't want to be right, but it's the primal nature, right? So if you're a girl, I'm going to like you, but if that's my fetish or my urge, I mean, okay. Is that not how? Well, anyway, is that not how some of us got here? But I mean, it is what it is. I don't know about Samantha's brother Zach. Hey, I don't know. I don't know those things. I just do certain things for comical effects, like right now. So yes. Go on, whatever. No, we come from ancient Earth rulers. We conquered through many bees. It's encoded in us. Even if it is Chief, this is not the place. That's um bad manners. That's bad manners. We are not doing that on enlightenment and transformation. No. That's just wrong. I see some bad girls too. See, brother Zach, you just gonna make this worse. um, they try to cut through it all. Exactly. Yes. No. You know what I'm trying to say. You just messing with me, brother Zach, like you always do. But yes. So we are not acting out like that. But also what else that for Chief? Oh, I told them that slavery in Brazil was abolished, in 1888. Actually, the Independence Day for Brazil is September 7th, 1822. I sort of talked about the Treaty of Tordesillas. He's saying he's on that more vibe, brother Zach. He wasn't all every kind of way. Hell, Sean Arby's that like yeah. Why y'all gotta act up? But if we own that, we own it. Hey, it is what it is. We own child arms that look like low. We own child arms that look like low. But hey, if we're conquering, we're conquering. We're conquering. So it is what it is. And that's what we doing. That's what we doing. Hey, Genghis Khan did it. Shouldn't be nothing wrong with it. But yes, the candy is hilarious. I also talked about I sort of talked about candomblé and how they spell certain Orishas names totally different from Spanish speaking places. Go away. And how you have SU, he's EXU, or Oshum is OXUM, things of that nature. Also, how in Candomblé you have a lot more Orishas than the main ones, than the main ones. So, and you have different ones that are indigenous to only Brazil because of the native influences, i.e. Janima, the Lomain clan, the Afro Low, the Lilo, the Aboriginal Low. Hey, you got Sub, that's like, the Lomain clan, that's, and you got, the Afro Lows, it is what it is, they ride around and get it, and you got the Lilo playing nothing. Well, why y'all gotta pick on me? Why y'all gotta pick on me? Why y'all gotta pick on me today? But I also talked about that. I talked about when yes, in Candomblé they exalt more humans. Yes. I know some sects, Gandhi is considered an Orisha. Exactly. It's yeah. So, it's a lot. I have seen Pablo Escobar shrines over. See. And like I say, hey, Williamson is there. And that negative spirit, I didn't want to say name, but that spirit is also there, and in other parts, It's just not us. Although a lot of people want to, say it's just us. No. But also I covered Pernambuco. Yeah, I sort of gave the geography of Pernambuco and Pernambuco and Palmeiras, which is basically straight north of Bahia State. It's like there's this little small county, and Palmeiras is actually in the state of Alagoas. And then Pernambuco has its own state, and then Alagoas is right below Pernambuco. um, what else did I give? Oh, for those that don't know as well, Mestre Bimba and Mestre Pachinha, like I said, they were two melanin rich black men, and they lived a long time. These were men that were born like in the, during the same time as Beetle, right? But these men live like Mestre Pachinha, he almost lived to 100. He almost lived to 100. He died in his 90s. And Mr. Bimba, he died in 1971. But yeah, these was melanin rich men that lived good or ripe ages. With the sport and whatnot. What else? We talked about Beetle's body being a rebirthing in that and whatnot. Anything Lilo Clan, right? Raise their pickies where they shoot you. No, I don't. But you know what? Nah. That'd be that Shiloh clan. The Shiloh clan has raised they put keys where they shoot you and say church and tabernacle. So no. The Lilo clan, that's that French, they say baby with everything. So don't get on me. Let's get on y'all clans. Don't get on me. Don't get on me and my Moorish conquests. Let's get on y'all. What y'all conquering is going to be. That could be, and then see where we all meet in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Because it just ain't me. Just wouldn't be me conquering whatever's there. It's gonna be me and my clique, as they say. Me and my squad, squad up, gang, whatever, So what since we're about conquering, think about that. What do you want to conquer? In your life or outside in the world, be it a business or economic, spiritual, things of that nature. Think about that, since we're on conquering and Moorish conquest, hey, if it's in us to conquer, it's in us to conquer, But it is, it is what it is, Everybody else do it, why not you? Think about that, If everybody else wants to conquer, but you don't want, something's wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's it's in us to do. But dang. Oh, okay. This is something I wanted to cover. When Beetle becomes the Toad, think about what that symbolizes. A toad is a camouflage creature, and it wades through the water, and it shows transformations. And what was Beetle doing? He was transforming, in the woods and things of the nature, like the toad, and then he was flying like what? The beetle, but and then what? He had armored skin, just like what? The beetle, I probably forgot about that. I wanted to do a little bit of animal totems, but I forgot to put that in. So how you caught up, Chief, or you need me to go in some more? No, I'm talking about. But yeah, but when I'm trying not to act up, here y'all come, brother Zach. Oh, that train's never late, but it is what it is. But if that is no more, I will see you next strong, and we will be. People don't realize some of those early fighters bartered their freedom for martial arts instruction, um, all before um, Bruce Lee hit the West. Yeah, yeah, you know. Um, hey, they they taught the lineage. They taught the lineage to earn their freedom. And it is what. Oh, I also I think I didn't say this. I also said how capoeira was um, um, a bit imperative to the Columbus. Because they used them, when like the Dutch were attacking and Pernambuco and things of that nature. I also talked about the failed soldier archetype because you have the colonel, and then I talked about how Brazil has been a refuge for failed soldiers like the Confederates and the Nazis, and things of that nature. But South America as a whole has been a refuge for Nazis. But it is what it is. I gave the example, one that I know, Adolf Eichmann, in Argentina, and things of that, and how um, the Israeli government came up and swiped them from Argentina, no extradition. That's why everybody wanted to go down to South America. But Chief, you ain't wearing me out. I can talk about Brazil all day. I can talk about Brazil all day. if I ain't bumping some samba, I'll be talking about it all day. And for some that probably don't know, yeah, if I am talking about it, it's not because of the women. I had to make that clear. It's not because of the women. So it's actually about the culture, things of that nature. They use that and other styles. Crane style was big there. Also, they used to wear spikes on their wrists and emulate the strikes of fighting roosters. Okay. Yes, she. Hey, you see I rep it. This. You see I rep it. And whatnot. From the from the cariocas to the balistas. Or balistas. Because people that I know, they were from they're balistas, but I've always loved the Baianos, that northeast region, where you have the drum schools of Aye and Olodum and things of that nature, and then you got the pageant that Aye throws every year in Carnival, but it can, like I say, they have their BET moments, they be, but it's man, just amazing, just to see that, the pageant that they throw it's wonderful. I watch it live, but it is what it is. That's an intense trade to make. But think about that, when he talks about, basically rooster fighting, because I won't say what it is, but think about how they, it's like wearing spurs, think about that, that's interesting because of the simple fact that all you see, is kicks. You don't see, hands thrown, which, you want to see, I go for the wings, brother Zach. It's not about, it's about the food. No, it's not look, if it is about food, I want some facial water. I want some facial water. I want some facial water. I want to drink my caipirinha, and watch my soccer team embarrass Bosco. And I want to dance because I want to learn Fordo, and I really want to learn samba. So it's way more more for that, because me, I like to dance and I like to sing, so of course that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be dancing the night away or something, you know, like it's Saturday Night Live, no, Saturday Night Fever, but it is what it is. It's the plantains for it's the plantains for me. Yeah, plantains, they're good too. Like plantains, wonderful, you know. But I've always wanted to eat feijoada. I never asked my aunt to fix me feijoada. I never asked none of my aunts to fix me feijoada. So I want to taste feijoada at least once in my lifetime. But yes, you know, yes, Sister Kashia, the dancing. I went a long time when I talk about dancing, but it's Brazil. Of course, I'm gonna talk about dancing. So yes, the dancing. Of course, I want to dance. But what else? I think that's I also talked about capoeira being basically acknowledging in 1953, you know, basically with Mestre Bimba and Mestre Pachinha, who were at the front of that movement, or how capoeira was outlawed, and you couldn't do it, and you know what I'm saying. Think about that, you know, because of probably that outlawing. And how, you know, because of that outlawing, how they had to take new names, you know, to protect themselves, you know, like Manuel, you know, his capoeirista name was Beetle, you know, or Besouro, you know. So I talked about that too. But yeah, anyway, I think that's all. That's all. I just wanted to, you know, include Chief in this. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to include Chief in this, so he don't feel left out. You know, being on the tail end. You know, but join me next round. You know, when we get into it again. They show the kicks and the dancing and throw you off. They box heavily. See, you study those warriors in Brazil, and you will find out where these so-called Oriental arts originated. Look. That's why it's like it's sort of not a coincidence that when you know that the guy that did Kill Bill's martial arts also did this. Wink, wink. You know, like I say, you already know. You know. Oh, it's no problem. Obrigada. No, muito obrigada. You know. So I want to give everybody good thanks. And enjoy the rest of your strong. You know, we'll be at it on our new global with, you know, Shaman New. So come in for that. So I want to say thank you, everybody. Muito obrigado. So I will see y'all next strong. So yeah, you can see in this signature move. Yes, you can. So give thanks, everybody, and I will see you next strong. Peace.